What is going on, guys? Brandon Connor here, bringing you back another deck profile, and today we're going to be doing the much awaited branded Dragon Link, or as I like to call it, Dragon Fusion. So this deck is really cool. I've had a lot of fun trying it out, and I've been really excited to bring it to you guys, so let's get into it. First up with the rocket engine, I run 3 rocket tracer, 1 rocket recharger, 1 silver rocket dragon, and 2 rocket synchron. I like this ratio a lot. I thought about cutting rocket tracer down to 2, but the third one seems to come up a lot, so I've kept it at 3. Even though sometimes it can be kind of a dead card, but very, very seldom, and it's only in the very late game. For the rocket, non-rocket monsters, 2 Apsarouter Dragon, what this guy does is pretty much when he goes to the graveyard, he adds a rocket monster from your deck to your hand. These guys are only in here to summon off of Rocket Tracer's effect. What Rocket Tracer does is basically when you summon him, you can pop a card. And what I like to do with him is use Quick Launch to bring him out in the field. Pop the Quick Launch, bring one of these 2 guys out, and then go into Chaotic Ruler, or another level 8 that we have. Yeah, and then Rocket Synchron, same with Apsarouter. If I can send Apsarouter, I'll just add Rocket Synchron, and then Rocket Synchron can special summon a level 5 or lower monster from the graveyard. It has to be a dragon though. So what I'll do is I'll send Apsarouter off of like Foolish Burial or Dragon Ravine, and then I'll add Rocket Synchron to my hand, normal summon it, bring out Apsarouter, and then go into Chaotic Ruler, and then I'm still left with a good 4 or 5 cards in hand. So yeah, I really like the rocket engine, and I don't think I'm going to switch it up. I might switch out the silver rocket for another rocket recharger, but that's about it. I don't think I would cut rocket tracer down to 2. I understand why people do that, but I just don't think I'm going to be doing that. Next up, 3 Starlight Safer. This is a great card. I've seen a couple people cut this down to 2, but I like it at 3. The reason I like it at 3 is because it comes in clutch a lot. It's never an issue if I see this card in my hand. If I have this card in my hand, I have plays, and I can almost guarantee myself to do something during the turn, and especially if the rest of my hand breaks, which doesn't happen very often. But what I like to send Apsarouter off of this guy a lot too, and add like Destrudo or something of the sort. But yeah, this card is at 3 and it's staying at 3. I run 1 each of the baby dragons, 1 white dragon and 1 black dragon. These are in here for obvious reasons. These should be staples in every dragon deck now. And yeah, these guys are really great to go into plays. You get them off of your Starlight Safer a lot. And yeah, I just really like these cards, and I've been playing them since they came out. Two Fallen of Albaz, because this is still a branded deck, and this is a fantastic card. I was playing this even before the structure deck came out. I would just normal summon this, use one of my opponent's strongest monsters, go into... Before it would be Titanclad the Ash Dragon, but we've gotten a little bit of better cards than that now, so... Yeah, I like him at 2. I think 3 is a bit much, and 2 is just right. 2 Noctovision Dragons. If you guys wanted to cut this, I guess you could, but it just comes up so much. If a Dark Dragon is special summoned, you can special summon him from your hand, and if he's in your graveyard, you can banish him, and he'll protect one of your face down cards. So if you have like Tidying Down or something you just wanted to set face down, you can protect it with this guy after using him for a link summon. And if you use him for a link summon, you also get to draw a card. So he's just an extra to extender, and he helps the deck a lot. Like I said, if you wanted to cut him for a little bit more consistency, you could. but I would definitely recommend against that because he's just such a great extender. One Destrudo, I highly recommend giving this card a try. It was on the ban list for a reason. You can, if you mill this or send it off of Foolish, you can not instantly bring it out, but there's a good chance you can bring it out, and he just opens up so many different plays. One Fairy Tale Snow. I almost consider this kind of like a hand trap, but not quite, for obvious reasons. Basically, when you normal summon this card, it's like a Book of Moon on legs. It flips one of your opponent's cards face down. And if it's in the graveyard, you can banish 7 cards and bring it back. Not 7 monsters, any 7 cards, so spell cards, trap cards, things like that. Any 7 cards you can banish and bring this card back and keep reusing its effect. Now for the bigger cards. One Blackluster Soldier and Void of the Beginning. I run this card just because I like it a lot, and it's actually pretty powerful, and it's fairly easy to go into. I used to run one of the Proto-Nemesis, or whatever they're called. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but basically you stop your opponent from summoning a type of monster. If you want to see what it was, check out my last video. I cut that out because I felt like the deck was bricking a little bit more than I was liking, and this card is just overall better and easier to bring out. So you can either banish a monster on the field, or if he destroys a monster, he can attack once again in a row. So he's either a 3000 beat stick with 2 attacks, or he's just a straight up banisher. So I feel like this card should get more play. It's really not that bricky at all. I haven't had too many issues. It's just kind of easy to get around now, but I'm going to keep playing it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. One Light Pulsar Dragon. I play this because 1, it's one of my favorite cards, and 2, it actually has great synergy with this deck. It can bring back fusion cards, it can bring back synchros, because they're mostly level 5 or higher dragon monsters. Basically, you can banish a light and a dark, bring him, special summon him from your hand, or if he's in your graveyard, you can ditch a light and a dark from your hand or field and special summon him, which is kind of a waste, so you don't ever really do that. But when he is destroyed, he brings back a level 5 or higher dark monster. So that's a big reason why I run him, especially with the red MD kind of gimmick where you can just keep recycling them. I understand why people don't play this card, but I think it's kind of underrated now, and I think you should definitely give it a try, and I don't think you'll be disappointed in it. One Red MD, because it's red MD. This card just special summons a dragon monster once per turn, and yeah, you don't even have to tribute for him. You can just banish one of your monsters on the field and bring him out after that. What I usually like to do is bring him out with Brotar and then banish, summon Brotar, add him to my hand, and then banish Brotar and bring him out. One Chaos Dragon Levianeer. This card is fantastic. You bring him out by banishing 3 light, 3 dark, or a combination of both. And then based off his effect of what you banish, you can do different effects. One is destroy 2 cards at the field, and one is rip a card from your opponent's hand. Those are the 2 that you'll really be using the most. The other one you won't really be using a whole lot. I think it's like, you can read it for yourself. One Omni Dragon Brotar. I run this because this is to bring out red MD. One Chamber Dragon Maid. I thought about cutting this, but it's come up enough that I'm leaving it. Basically, you just use this for links and to bring out your tidying. One Galactic Spiral Dragon. This is to basically just bring out your Exceed monster. We have one rank 8, and this is how we get into it. You can also get into it with fusion monsters and synchros, but this guy's the easiest. If you have 2 or more dragons on the field, which you almost always do, you can special summon him from your hand or graveyard, and then immediately go into a link, or not a link, a rank 8, because he makes everything in the field level 8 for that turn. And I do still run the Dragunity package in 3 Remus, 1 Legatus, and 1 Miss Valley Baby Rock. So basically how you run this is you ditch Remus to get Dragon Ravine into your hand, and then pitch a card for Legatus. Legatus gets special summoned because you have a Dragoonity card on the field, and then Remus gets special summoned from the graveyard, and then you go into your Dragoonity monster, Gaidir, and then you add Mist Valley to your hand, and then ditch it off of Gaidir's effect, and then special summon it, and then go into Crystal Wind. So this is a fantastic engine, and I 110% recommend you running it. This is what made the last deck go so far. Last up is the hand traps. I do run the Psy-Frame Gamma package with 1 driver and 2 Psy-Frame, or 2 Gamma. So I was running this with 3 Gamma, but it bricked way too much, and I would always end up with 2 in my hand. So I cut it down to 2, so that way I had a much less time of seeing it. And it actually worked out a lot, and I recommend trying it out because, like I said, 3 is just too bricky for me. Two Effect Veiler, because this card's great and better than Imperm. I also have this in here because it helps with light cards. You tend to have a little bit lack of light monsters in this deck because there's so many dark dragons, and just having a couple hand traps that are light really helps the deck along. And 1 Ash Blossom, just because Ash Blossom helps out a lot with, stopping your opponent from doing stuff. For the spell cards, we run 3 Chaos Space. This is like the heart and the soul of the deck. You have this card in here, and you probably are going to win the duel if you have this card in your opening hand. So basically, you play this card, you ditch a light or a dark, you add a monster that is the opposite of what you pitch. So if you pitched a dark, you get a light. If you pitched a light, you get a dark. And it has to say in its text, it can't be normal summoned or set. And then what you normally add is one of the baby dragons, and then when you get the other one in your hand, you banish this card, because you can banish this card and add one of your banished light or dark monsters to the bottom of your deck and then draw a card. So you usually add a baby dragon to the bottom of your deck, draw a card, and then get it back once you link off with the other baby card. So yeah, this card's at 3, and hopefully it stays at 3. Quick launch, like I said, should be a staple in any, well, not like I said before, should be a staple in any Dragon Link deck. Basically, you play this card and you special summon a rocket monster straight from your deck. And this is what I said I like to do with Rocket Tracer. Bring him out, pop this card, and then go into a level 8 synchro. Now for the branded part, 3 branded fusion. We play this to go into the new fusion cards. And yeah, I end up playing branded in white, but so far this little branded engine is working fine, and I feel like trying to dice a little more in might make it a little bit more complicated. I would like to try fitting Despia cards in here, but we'll see when that time comes, because I'm not getting Despia cards until Ghost from the Past is officially out. But yeah, definitely run branded fusion at 3. 2 World Legacy Guard Dragon. I run this card because it's a great extender. If I have nothing else and I have a graveyard full of stuff, I play this. What I like to do a lot is if I have Tracer in the graveyard, I'll bring Tracer back and then pop this card and go into a synchro from there, or even into a link. But I see people cut this card, but I really wouldn't, because it is such a great card and it gives you so many more options. Brick 1 and Brick 2, the field spells. I actually bumped this deck up from 52 cards up to 55, just because I saw these cards so much. I felt that I could get away with running more cards and seeing these cards less, because you have so many ways of searching it. This card, you have so many ways of going into Striker Dragon and getting this into your hand. And you have 4 different ways of going into this with Remus, and then the Dragoonity Knight in the extra deck. 1 Reborn, because bringing back a monster from either graveyard is never a bad thing. 1 Foolish, because you literally benefit off of anything going to the graveyard from this deck. 1 Called By, because we want our plays to go through. And last but not least, 1 Dragon Maid Tidying. This is a card that I might bump up to 2. I don't know yet. I don't know what I would cut. But yeah, just know that I'm thinking about bumping this up to 2 because just even being at 1 makes such a difference. So that was it for the main deck. Let's get on with the extra deck. For the fusion monsters, I run 1 Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon, 2 Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. I felt like 2 of this was overkill, but 2 of this is fine because this is just such a great card because you can, I believe you can fusion summon off of your banish pile. And this card, he can banish a card on the field by destroying a fusion monster from the extra deck. And if he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, or just sent to the graveyard in any way, he nukes the field or your opponent's field. 1 Albion. I thought about running Ash Dragon over this, but I felt like he would come up more. And that's it for the fusion monsters. I wanted to leave a little bit of room for still a couple of links and other cards, so I find that this works out pretty well. For the 1 Exceed, we run the Zombie Vampire. This is a great card, and I definitely recommend picking it up. Helps the deck out a lot. And for Link monsters, we run Striker Dragon, Heretic Seal, only 1 because you only have space for 1. 1 Dark, the Dark Charmer Gloomy, great card. If you really wanted to cut this for another fusion card, I guess you could. Or even for Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, but I really like this card and it helps out a lot with DPE. 1 Romulus, this is the Link monster I was talking about, one of your ways to get into your Dragon Ravine. 1 Boreal Sword because it's just Boreal Sword, and I highly recommend running Boreal Sword. I still run Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. You could also cut this for another fusion if you wanted to run a little bit more of a fusion based extra deck. I just have this in here for the board wipe. 1 Hot Red, you actually go into this a lot more than you would think. 1 Boreal Sword, you go into this all the time. It's one of your main combo cards. Well, not one of your combo cards, but one of your main end pieces. 1 Chaotic Ruler, you also go into this a lot because it just helps get cards in the graveyard. This is one of the best cards in the game, and I definitely recommend playing it, especially since it got a reprint. And then your Gay Deer and your Crystal Wing. This is also a great card, and when you can go into it, it's fantastic. And every time I summon this in a game, I won the game. So yeah, this was my branded deck profile for branded Dragon Link. I hope you guys liked it and enjoyed it and found it helpful and informative. If you liked it, tune in next time, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.